Well, this is Rashid and this is Lesson Thrills. Right now we are trying to sort few questions. Students have asked me many questions regarding their exams because class 10th boards are coming, and I'm here trying to answer few questions of my students. Hopefully those answers will help the students to cope up with their exam pressure. So let's see what are the questions I have from my students.
Okay. So the first question is, what's the routine that students should follow before their exams?
Okay, that's a very good question because most of the students get confused regarding their routines. Now, the whole year, throughout the year, all the students follow different routines as per their convenience. Few study in the morning, few study late night. So my suggestion will be they should keep up with their own routine, because right now, just before the exam, if you guys change your routine, that will affect your confidence, that will affect your the way you are going on, that will affect that rhythm. So do not break that rhythm, just increase the intensity of your work, increase the intensity of your studies during this time. Don't try to change your routine. Yes, you can add more sessions to your routine, but don't change the routine. If you are comfortable studying in the morning, do that. If you're comfortable studying at night, do that.
Okay. The next question is that how often should students take breaks in their routines?
Yes.
Like, what is the study pattern? Should they study for an hour, for 2 hours? How should be the break and how should be the formulation?
Yes, that's very important to take break in between your study sessions. I would suggest if you're studying for 1 hour at a stretch, after 1 hour you should take at least 10 minutes break, or I would say maximum 10 minutes break. It should not exceed. What happens whenever we are doing something, it's a kind of stress that we are putting in our brain. So if we take a break, our brain gets a kind of relaxation and it works better just after the break. So you can take a break for maximum 10 minutes in between your sessions, and at a stretch you can study maximum 1 hour, because if you try to study for 2 hours it will be too hectic or too stressful for your brain. So if you're stressing your brain, besides that you just have to relax your brain also. So this is how you can do 1 hour, 10-minute break, and then again 1 hour. This is how we can do.
Would you suggest the Pomodoro technique for the students?
Yes, that's a very nice technique. That's what I said. You're talking about Pomodoro technique. It means that is break and all. That is the thing.
So Pomodoro technique has a routine cycle of 4 hours.
Yeah.
Which is, as per the students, they can take either 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 45 minutes, 15 minutes, and then the cycle repeats for a 4-hour session.
Yes, that's a good idea. That's a nice idea. If you are doing that Pomodoro technique, then you can carry it on. But suddenly, as I said, that just before the exam, if you are comfortable, then you can experiment. And if you are not comfortable, then you can go on with your own technique. But the technique that you talked about, that's a nice idea. You can have a try.
Okay. How can students mug up their lessons, especially in terms of history, where we have to learn so many dates and so many concepts to remember, so many storylines to follow? So how can they remember these topics easily?
That's a common thing. That's a common area of improvement. If you have studied throughout the year, then I don't think it's going to be a problem. But if you haven't, you have a problem right now just before the exam, I would suggest to have short notes of all the chapters of history or geography or economics or any SST subjects. What you have to do, you just have to remember the points. For example, what are the favorable conditions to set up a factory in any area? If favorable conditions are there, 10 conditions are there, you just remember 10 conditions, 10 points. Brain will find it easier to remember points rather than the whole paragraph. So right now, you just think about or remember the points, and if you remember the points, then it will be easier, or it will be no problem to talk or write about those points at least 2 to 3 lines. So right now you think about the points or the gist, not the whole thing.
And what about dates? Is there a way to remember dates easily?
Yes, again I'll be saying, right now if you try to learn something new, it will be difficult for you. But still, if you want to do this, just visualize the dates. For example, if you want to remember 1947, then have a picture of 1947 and relate that 1947 to those incidents as your convenience. Make a story out of it to remember. But right now there is not much time. So if you have 100 dates to remember and you do not remember 100 dates, you remember 50 dates, then I would suggest go with that 50 dates. If any of the dates comes in the examination, then you should not forget those 50 dates. Don't go for 100 dates right now. Whatever you remember, go with it, because right now you have to work on your strengths. If you want to include something new, it will be difficult for you to remember.
Okay. How to complete papers on time, especially when there are papers like history, English, we sometimes have extremely lengthy papers.
Yes.
So how to address that?
It's about practice. Right now you have few more days left. Before your first examination, you just fix a time in your table clock or anything on mobile phone. Fix the time and set alarm. Within that specific time, you fix a target that I have to complete these answers or these many answers or answers of this number, this particular number. This is how. Fix a time and try to write it until and unless you get your target, until and unless you complete your answer within that time. So practice, practice and practice, rather than no solution of this is there.
Is there a way to study smart?
Study term, I just mentioned that if you want to study term, you just have to remember the points. That is one thing. And right now you can use your technology. You have mobile phones. If you have to remember something, record it in your mobile phones, and while walking, sitting or eating or suppose you are lying down, just put it in eyes, sorry, not eyes, in your ear, and it will help you. So that can be a smart thing. Or nowadays you have YouTube videos, you can see short videos. That can also be done if you can utilize it properly. But remember, while watching those videos, don't go to any other websites, right?
Is there a correct way to solve the paper, that these questions should be addressed first, or let's say the unseen passage I should solve first, or I should attempt the lengthier 20 marks answers first? Is there a correct way to solve a paper?
Different people have different ideas, different aspects or different strengths and weaknesses. So they can, different students can have their different processes. But if you ask me, I would say that you should attempt the tougher questions first, because as our brain is there, our brain is just like battery. Initially our brain stays charged up and gradually it loses its charge. So if you are facing or attempting the tougher question first, then you need the most of the energy of your brain. So initially your brain is charged up and most of the energy is there. So if you attempt the tough question, it will be easier for you to tackle the question. So I would say go for the tough question first, and gradually you get to the easier questions.
How to handle the stress during exams? Because if we follow this pattern, at first only if I see the tougher questions, I will be stressed. I would rather love to solve the grammar questions and like fill in the blanks and then run away from it.
Yeah.
And sometimes we see the questions and we forget the answers completely. So how to handle stress during exams?
As you asked me that if we attempt the tougher questions, we'll get stressed. I agree. I fully agree. I said that different people or different student has different ideas of facing the question pattern. So if you see the difficult question first, until and unless you start writing the answer, you will be stressed. The moment you start the answer, the stress will not be there. I got an example from Hrithik Roshan. So there was a film, Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara. So there he jumped from the aeroplane. And that was very difficult for him because he has a phobia of height, but still he had to give the shot. So in an interview, he said whether that was difficult or not. Someone asked him the question that how difficult it was. So he said that when I was standing at the gate of the aeroplane, it was very difficult for me. My heart was beating. I thought that I would not be doing it, or I would not be able to do that. And after that, he jumped. And he said that the moment I was standing there, it was difficult. But the moment I jumped, nothing was difficult. It was fun. So the thing is, the moment you're looking at the question, you're thinking about the question, it will be tough. But the moment you start writing the answer, it will never be tough. So attempt it. What should I say? That face the tough thing to decrease the fear of the tough thing. So face it, everything will be gone. Every difficulty will be gone.
Okay. Yes. Those are the questions for now. Is there any last words from you that students should take it as their anchor, as their guiding words for them to handle their exams, handle their stress throughout this duration of their exams until their results? So yeah, any
No.
last words?
That's a very nice question. I always would like to answer this. This is the time when the students, I mean boards, class 10 boards, this is the first time when they are facing a difficult examination, or this is the first hurdle that they are going to face in their academic career or academic life. If you are stressed, if you are feeling pressurized, I would say that's a blessing for you. You are here to face that. Life is all about stress, and this is the first stress that you are facing right now, that you are going to face it. If you are feeling stressed, if you are feeling your heart beating twice on every second, that's a good thing, because when you are facing these things, you are feeling nervous. It means it is called epigenetic modification. The moment you are thinking about your examination, your brain is giving your body the information that you are going to face something difficult. So be prepared. The moment your body, your mind, your soul is getting prepared, you will feel that kind of nervousness and that kind of anxiety. So if that is happening, it means you are getting prepared. That's a good thing. If you think that this is not a good thing, I'm getting nervous and all, that is a wrong thing. Accept your nervousness, because you are on this planet, you are living a human life to embrace those difficult times. So if difficult time is coming, embrace those, take it as a blessing and go through it. Once you go through it, you'll find out that you are a champion. So to become a champion, you have to go through all these things. So keep it in mind. You are a champion, and to become a champion, you have to go through it. You will get the strength to face it.
So yes, as you heard, you have to go through the problems, you have to go through the hurdles to become a champion. Thank you so much for your words, and yes, that is it.
Thank you so much for the questions that my students have asked me, and I feel very much honored that students thought me to be of that standard that I would be able to answer the questions. And by the way, this is Paulami. Paulami is asking me on behalf of my students, and the way she has delivered the questions, or that's the way she has asked the questions, it made easier for me to answer because it was so prominent, and hopefully she also herself asked me a few questions that my students did not ask. So thank you for your questions. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.